Welcome to Create Momentum for Positive Mindset. Today, my guest is Toby Albert. He's real estate advisor and digital content creator. Welcome to Create Momentum. Thank you very much for giving me your time.
Thank you, Shazad. I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah.
And excited about this podcast.
Thank you. You have taken your time. I know you are busy. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm a real estate advisor and content creator.
Yeah.
And essentially my story began about, 4 years ago. Recently, I graduated at the time from university. And like a lot of people, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do in terms of, career. But a friend of mine was an agent when I was in uni. And I remember he invited me to an open house at the time. And I went and, I was just really intrigued about how he worked and, just the properties that he was showing. So once I graduated, I had it in my mind because he also said, look, you should try it out. You'd be good at it. So when I got back to London, I essentially started applying to a bunch of positions. I got an offer in a corporate agency. And that was kind of like where my real estate career began. But I quickly realized that, the way that they were operating was kind of outdated. There was a rigid style of communicating, and the earning potential was really low compared to what how it's structured in the States. So I decided to go independent, and since then, I guess my business has took off because of various reasons such as social media. But that was just a quick story as to how I kind of got into this position I'm in terms of real estate.
Of course, it is better than a job because again, nobody has anything to say to you. You are your kind of own boss whenever you want to work and how you want to work. That's the most important thing, to become an entrepreneur. I worked for real estate because one of my friends is in the real estate industry. You have heard about the name of Demac. He got a good position, and plus his wages or commission was brilliant, but he left that, so he took me in a different company, but it was a learning experience. As real estate is not an easy job. You have to do a lot of cold calling, and some people will on you, they'll put the phone down, but again it's like an everyday thing you have to do. If something puts you down, you just don't go down, you will pick up yourself again. So during real estate in real estate journey, did you find a lot of challenges when you started on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, definitely. I think even till today, it can be challenging, but I think it's really how you look at things. With real estate, it's a lot of hard work, but then it's really rewarding. So I'm going into every day thinking, look, I'm going to put the work in now because I know I'll reap the rewards later. So for me, I guess the challenging part in the beginning, funnily enough, was realizing that it's not a business necessarily that you go into and just try and work and make money quite quickly. It takes time, and it's a relationship based business. You have to be going out there and really making relationships with people, honest relationships that are sincere, because you're in charge of some of the biggest transactions that people make in their lives, but you're also in charge of finding a place for someone to call home, somewhere that they rest their head at night, which is important, because it's it takes a lot of security in someone and for someone to call a place a home. So that was starting out. I had to quickly realize that it's not something you could just come in and solely focus on making a quick buck, because I think that's just where it doesn't really last, or essentially you get burnt out because it takes time. Like anything, it takes time, but with this, it's something that does really take patience, just because of the relationship side of things. So in the beginning, that was what was a challenge for me, but I understood it quite quickly after a while.
Of course, the real estate business, once you establish it, even though if you, let's say example, for you sell a property for 2 to 3 million, so that can give you like 1%, 2%. That is like somebody's yearly wages. That's
Mm,
how, but it's not necessity. Someone is doing well, that everybody should do well. Everything's take time. And again, patience is a lot of us, a lack of patience. So we need patience. And this game, you have to be very patient. Maybe in 29 days, you would not do any deal. And one day you will do, well, you will cover your all month expenses.
that's 100% true. So that, I mean, there's been multiple months where it's been a struggle for me, but then, you know, that next month comes around, I held on, and my earnings will cover the next 4 to 6 months. So it's really about being patient, just like you said.
Yes. So during this pandemic, I mean, this pandemic, a lot of people has been affected, their businesses has been affected, and a lot of people had made 5, 6, or 7 figures. So what do you think, are the pandemics are good for the businesses, or what do you think about that?
Yeah. So with the pandemic, I think it pushed us into the digital age.
Yeah.
We kind of accelerated how we see the world quite quickly, you know. And what happened was, well, at least what I saw was that the innovative thinkers really were able to shine, because they saw the pandemic not necessarily as an opportunity, but they were able to shift quickly. You know, they saw the changes happen, and they made a move, right? They made a move to better themselves or their business, and that really showed during the pandemic. So I think that the few people that were able to really come out of it with a strong business, really make money, were the ones that are, you know, are forward thinkers and are innovative. So that's how I saw the pandemic, really. So it was really interesting to watch, and I think that in some extent I was a part of that wave, just with how I had to shift the way I saw my business. You know, as prior to, I was looking at it more as, okay, I need to kind of work with one person at a time, kind of thing, and just kind of slowly build, I guess, a database. But then when the pandemic hit, I realized, okay, look, I need to reach a lot of people quite quickly. And that was where social media came for me. So yeah, the pandemic was really interesting to see, you know, the shift in the business sense.
So question for you, as you said, social media. So how
Yeah.
effective is social media to grow your business,
Oh, in my opinion, it's the most effective tool after physically being in front of someone. Social media is the second most important thing to grow your business, and that's just because of the organic reach that you can get. You know, we're now living in a world where if somebody is in, you know, let's say California, and you know, if I was based in Nigeria, West Africa, I can sell them a product without having to ever meet them. You know, so bearing that in mind, with social media, you can just reach so many people. You can get your message across the world in an instant, and that's really what it is. It's a platform which you can use to reach people, to tell your story, to inspire people, and that's really how I see these platforms. They're amazing tools and assets that you can use to build something great.
All right. Are you always open to other opportunities which comes in your way? As you know, you have an entrepreneur mindset. So are you open to other different opportunities apart from real estate?
Yeah, I guess, you know, I always keep my mind open to opportunities, and that's really how I live my life, is trying to, you know, see how I can work with other people or inspire people or be inspired. So I'm definitely always, I think as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to be, because, you know, an entrepreneur in essence just means that you're taking on risk. and with that, you have to be flexible. You can't, I personally wouldn't be stuck in one way of working, in one way of thinking, because you're limiting yourself. And, the risk of an entrepreneur is that you lose everything, but then the upside is that you can gain everything / a lot. So I think that's only possible when you keep those doors open.
Okay, the question I want to ask you now, do you read a lot of books on real estate or different subjects?
Yeah, like I read quite a bit. I try to read at least a book a month, and not really real estate based. The last book I read was it was actually Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. I mean, that was a great book. He really inspired me, the way he thinks, talking about essentially creating a business, and really separating yourself from the rat race, or finding ways to separate yourself from the rat race, even if you do have to be employed, because being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, it's not for everyone, right? But he just talks about ways that you can still set yourself apart and make sure that you're financially free. And I was really inspired by that book. I also I wouldn't say self-help books, but I like books that are based around understanding kind of, I guess, who we are as a people. And I read a book recently called Ego is the Enemy. Ego is the Enemy by Robin Holiday. And it just talks about how, being too inward focused creates the ego, and the ego isn't necessarily something that we should be controlled by. But what we should really be doing is, instead of thinking about who we are and who we can become, it's more about what we're doing. What are the good things that we're doing for ourselves and for everyone around us. And I think that's great, because it really brings you down to earth. It grounds you. So that was another book that I really liked.
That's really great. I want to ask you, what motivates you every day? And if let's say this is a whole month, you didn't make any income, let's say you are down. So what would you do to keep yourself motivated?
Yeah, I mean, I would say for me, it's waking up knowing that I have an opportunity to achieve what I want on this earth whilst I'm here. I have, every morning I wake up, it's an opportunity for me. I get to try to do whatever it is that I want to do, right? And I think that being alive is a blessing, and I don't take that for granted, or at least I try not to take that for granted as much as I can. So what motivates me is just the opportunity to try. I feel like sometimes you can look at life like a game, and I get to play the game, and that inspires me every day.
All right, that's a great thing. The last thing I want to ask, that on your website you have given that real estate advisor book. Did you write it by yourself?
Yeah, I did. I kind of locked myself in a room and gave myself 4 weeks really to put something together, as much value as possible, and really just speak to people that are interested in an industry, especially, I would say, newer agents, but also agents that have been in a traditional, structure of agency. How I've been able to kind of start my own business and succeed in transacting through various means such as social media, but also it does have those traditional methods in there too. But I would say, they're more entrepreneurial, like we're talking about. It's really about going out there and putting yourself out there in the best possible way to make something happen for you. So yeah, so the book is the book is a great book, and I think that if you are interested in an industry, especially in becoming a real estate advisor, it's going to teach you how to build your personal brand and get yourself out there in the best possible way. So it's called How to Become a Real Estate Advisor and Build an Unshakable Personal Brand.
No problem. What I will do, I'll give your link, all social media. Somebody wants to connect you, and want to know about the entrepreneurship or the real estate advising, so you should contact Toby. So last question, what would be your message for your audience, your friends, or anybody you want to give that message?
So I would say, take action on whatever it is that you want to do in life. It's easier said than done to some extent, but I guess the alternative is not doing it. But then at the same time, patience is huge, is key. Something I learn every day. But really, try and go after what it is that you love and that's meaningful. I guess there's kind of a quote in that book that I read called "Ego is the Enemy," and it's in Latin it's memento mori, and basically it means kind of everything will go. One day we all die. So I guess bearing that in mind, if we can go after what we love, we should.
Okay, so I say a quote here. It says, "How far the little candle throw its beams, so shine a good deed in a naughty world."
Mm.
Toby, thank you very much. Thanks for your time, and it's been a pleasure to having on a Create Momentum and doing this podcast.
Appreciate that, Shazad. This was great. I'm looking forward to future episodes.
No problem. Thank you.